Hey guys, it's Mir from MMOs.com and another quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcements for the week ending August 1st, 2016. This is episode number 54 of the recap, and we have plenty of big news this week. The first bit of news is that after months of speculation, Lost Ark's closed beta has finally been announced. Closed beta will be held on August 24th, and around 9,000 players will get a chance to try the game out during this beta. It's only open to Korean residents though, and no international release has been announced or anything's planned just yet, but the game is finally making some real progress towards an eventual release. The game is set to be shown off during China Joy and as most likely make an appearance at G-Star 2016 as well. As is, there's no NDA either, so we'll get to hear what people think about the game by the end of the month, so that'll be exciting. There's a lot of hype around Lost Ark, and after I saw the 20-minute trailer for the game myself, I'm a bit hyped. But I always try to keep myself grounded because you can't get disappointed if you avoid the hype train entirely. Still, I'm looking forward to giving this one a try. And even though all we have is a Korean closed beta day, it's better than nothing. So Lost Ark is finally happening, and it's always good to see progress on a much hyped game. Next up, Dungeon Fighter Online is making its way to Steam in August. A bit surprising it took Nexon this long to launch Dungeon Fighter Online on Steam because the game has been an enormous success in Asia. In fact, it's actually the highest grossing MMORPG in the world. Largely due to success in China, but still, the largest grossing MMORPG in the world is finally launching on Steam. No word on a specific date yet, but we do know it'll be sometime in August of 2016, so sometime later this month. Moving right along, some unfortunate news for Livelock. The game has been delayed indefinitely due to the problems it was having on a PS4 release, so they wanted to actually synergize and time the release for the game on PS4, Xbox, as well as PC all at once, so that's the reason they delayed the PC and Xbox versions, due to the issues, I guess, in the PS4 version of the game. It's a top-down cooperative shooter, and it's being published by Art Games, but it's developed by a Canadian studio, Torque Games. The new release date is yet to be announced, but it's not going to be gone forever. Indefinitely usually means bad things. Here, I suspect it's going to be probably a delay of a couple weeks, but we'll see. Next, some pretty big news from Blizzard regarding World of Warcraft. Players can start playing the Demon Hunter class starting on August 9th. It's the newest class being added with Legion. However, for people that already bought the game, they'll be able to access the early access content on August 9th and start playing it a bit early. And again, in order to get access to it, you have to have pre-purchased it already. If you didn't do so, you can still do so on battle.net. The official launch is going to be August 30th, 2016 for Legion, but new class will be playable as of August 9th. I personally know a lot of my friends are going to be going back to World of Warcraft just for Legion, so it kind of shows you the power of World of Warcraft. Even though a lot of people stop playing, they're all going to come back just for the expansion, but we'll see how long they stick around. Next up, some pretty big news from Snail Games regarding a brand new game, Dark and Light, also called Savage Horizon. They showed off this new trailer in China Joy 2016, and it's being touted as a true sandbox game where players can explore 40,000 kilometers squared of land, build houses, and even create your own kingdom. Apparently there'll be tons of different roles for players to take on, including Fighter, Hunter, and Treasure Hunter. Those are only 3 it showed off. Unfortunately, with the video in the background, it's a cool trailer, but it shows no or little actual gameplay. But we'll be taking the MMO genre through a large sandbox environment, and they do say it's a true sandbox, and we'll see what that actually means when the game comes out eventually. It is a Chinese company behind it, so it'll see a Chinese release first, and if it does well, it'll probably come to America. But this one is still a whiles away, but it still shows there is investment in big new PC games. I know we talk a lot about mobile in podcasts and how big mobile is becoming, but there are still big PC games launching, and this is one of them. Speaking of mobile games, Nexon actually just unveiled MapleBlitzx. It was previously called Project MNP. It looks to be a 3-lane strategy/card game, which looks a lot like Clash Royale, but with a MapleStory theme. Apparently, this game will be launching into beta on August 9th, and it'll run till August 15th. And it'll be exclusive to Korea. No word yet on an international release. However, I suspect if it does well, it will launch here in the West. Nexon has already indicated that they do want to get more of their revenues from the West, so I suspect this game will definitely make it over here, but we'll see. I guess copying Clash Royale to a degree is a good idea, because that game makes a shit ton of money. Also on the mobile games front, we have WeMade Entertainment, which just revealed at China Joy 2016 that is creating a mobile version of Legend of Mir in the Unreal 4 engine. Legend of Mir is an oldie of a game, if you remember. I mean, this game was released back in 2001 or earlier, so it was an oldie. It was super popular in China, and they're finally making a mobile version of the game just now. As is based on the trailer in the background, it looks more like Heroes of Incredible Tales than it does the original Mir games, but we won't know specifically too much until we play it ourselves. Unfortunately, this is a Chinese release for the game. I do suspect, a lot of these games are pushing for Western releases, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the Legend of Mir mobile game launching here in the West, because a lot of Chinese games are making their way over here, especially mobile ones. There's a lot of Chinese mobile games launching in America. Actually mentioned, visually the game looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, these mobile games are getting better and better in terms of visuals, but we'll see how it actually plays once we get our hands on it. And moving right along, one last bit of news on the mobile front. Icarus M brings WeMade's MMORPG to the mobile arena. So yes, Rise of Icarus is launching a mobile version of the game just called Icarus M, I guess M for mobile. It's also an Unreal 4 engine powered game, and looks to be emphasizing action combat. Graphically and gameplay wise, based on this trailer release, it looks kind of like Hung Moon Rising, which was the Blade & Soul mobile game. I expect more and more polished games to be launching on mobile. I mean, mobile is definitely, it's too big to ignore for these companies, so you'll be seeing a lot of mobile MMOs. Even more so in the near future. The game will feature taming, which is a key feature in Rise of Icarus, as well as flying. Unfortunately, no release date yet for the game, nothing even about a Western release date just yet, but I suspect we'll still see a Western release date, eventually. Next up, some negative news for Nexon. Apparently, they'll be shutting down Sun Attack 2 on September 29th, 2016, barely a month after launching the game. This is likely due to the game underperforming, because, I mean, if a game is doing really well, there's no reason to shut it down. Apparently, GameHigh, the developer behind Sun Attack 2, ended their publishing contract with Nexon, so it's possible that GameHigh will take the game and be relaunching it with a different publisher, or even relaunching it themselves. But as is, the game is dead in waters in South Korea, and we'll have to wait to see what happens next. Given the insane popularity of Sun Attack 1, the original Sun Attack game in Korea, it is sad to see Sun Attack 2 shut down so quickly. I mean, rarely does a game shut down within a month or so after release. That is just unfortunate. It's also possible that the game is shutting down due to unrelated reasons. I mean, this last week was actually drama-filled for Nexon. The founder of Nexon, Kim Jong-ju, is stepping down as a director of the company after being indicted for corruption charges. So some corporate drama going on, and that could be the reason why GameHigh pulled the license. But all we know for sure is that the game is shutting down through Nexon. And if we find out more, we'll update you next week or the week after. Next up, after 4 months since it was first announced, we get to see Stunlock Studios' newest game, Battlerite, in action. For those that don't know, Battlerite is looks like an action arena MOBA. It looks like Bloodline Champions, but with a softer, cartoony look, so it seems to be a bit more League of Legends-esque. The trailer in the background shows off some characters and some abilities and some action gameplay in Battlerite. No word on when the game is actually launching. Beta signups are still open on the official website, and beyond that, that's all we got. The game is making progress, and that's always good. Up next, some pretty big news for Alliance of Valiant Arms. Yes, an oldie of a shooter is apparently being picked up by In-Mass Entertainment, the same folks behind Terra. Area Games was the publisher for AVA for quite some time now, but it looks like since they were acquired and merged with GameAgo, it looks like the game will be being picked up by In-Mass. Players will be able to transfer their characters over to the new In-Mass service, so nothing will be lost. No word on exactly when this will happen, though. Up next, a fairly big update for 2001 subscription-based MMORPG Dark Age of Camelot. The game's latest patch updates almost all of the game's classes, so a pretty big update for the older game. The game is about 45 classes, so it's a huge update if you're going to change every single one. Also including the update is a whole new zone, as well as changes to the Keep Warfare contribution system, siege systems, and more. But the biggest part of this update is, of course, a look at all of the game's classes. Now, Dayak is a subscription-based game, so I suspect most of you guys are not playing it. However, it was an awesome game back in the day, and I played it quite a bit. It's still a fun game, but it's rough to recommend to new players, so for that reason, I say skip it. Next up, a newer game to talk about. Pirates Allods Online enters closed beta on July 27th, only on the Russian version though. So Pirates Allods Online is a new Allods game that focuses exclusively on airship battles. Unfortunately though, it'll only be released in the Russian version right now. If the game does well, expect the international release then. However, given that Mail.ru already publishes Skyforge as well as Allods in English, Pirates Allods should probably come out in English too. Up next, some pretty big news for Guild Wars 2. ArenaNet released Guild Wars 2 Living World Season 3 Episode 1 this last week, and it progressed the game's storyline. It also introduces new Fractal and PvP content alongside the launch. A new PvP conquest map called Revenge of the Capricorn has also launched alongside the update, and to celebrate the launch of this update, they actually put Heart of Thorns expansion half off, but unfortunately it only lasted for 1 day, so if you miss a sale, you gotta pay full price now or wait till a new sale comes along. The next and last bit of news this week comes from Runescape regarding the latest update for the game called The Ark. It already launched this last week and it introduces 2 new sets of islands for players to explore. The new Uncharted islands are procedurally generated, so each time it'll be different. Seeing more MMORPGs use procedurally generated content seems interesting. Previously, it was kind of limited to these sandbox survival games, kind of like Rust, so it's cool to see it in MMORPGs now as well. Players can save the islands they like by planting a flag on it and making it their own private resort, so you can save the ones apparently you like. Anyway guys, that's it for MMO news this week. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Later guys.